Well, that was fun. Just sort of touched the render, and all of this just sort of fell off. And what it revealed was some pretty unpleasant gaps between stones. So I mixed up some show, pushed it in the cracks. I was sort of doing that and my telephone rang. And yeah, it was a caller I wanted to talk to. Enjoy talking to, that's a better way of putting it. I do enjoy talking to that person. Anyway, I straightened up because to work on this I'm bending my knees and it's sort of not awfully comfortable, and I just sort of turned and walked to this wall, and with the tip of my trowel I just sort of gently prodded some of the render and discovered sort of horror story here. So while I was on the telephone I was sort of pushing more show into there. It's a feature of this type of building that over a couple of hundred years it just settles, it slowly sort of sinks as the if you look in there you can see that's clay mortar, you know, and it sort of slowly dries out, cracks, drops, crumbles, falls out, the stones settle a bit. Who was it used to say that? Mrs. And you end up with the whole wall just slowly sort of compacting down, which, you know, the traditional way of dealing with it is you just keep repairing, keep chipping out render, keep pushing in more render. Yeah, it goes on, and it's one of the reasons why stone-built houses in this part of the world are cheap, because of course local people don't want them. And then of course you get things like this, you know, a wooden beam with stonework sitting on it, and of course wood swells and shrinks and some of it gets eaten by ants or whatever. That beam is not too sad, and that can stay there. I find this fascinating. What this particular room was, this was the cave, the place where the wine was stored. And various of my neighbours, and indeed the grandson of the man who used to live here, have come and looked at this and tried to work out, you know, what's this reference to? The 11th of June. What was that? Something important? You know, are these sort of prices or volumes, or we don't know. And indeed, Guy, whose grandfather, grandmother lived in this house, he wasn't actually sure that was their handwriting. It could be the people, well, it probably not the people that his grandfather bought from, but could be the people before that. I find that interesting, and one of the things I'm keen to do is to preserve that. You know, it's a record of what, you know, what's that say, jambon? Ham. Well, yes, possibly someone hung hams in here, and you know, there's more which we don't understand. We don't know what any of that relates to, but it's interesting and fascinating. What is going to happen here is, we've discussed what that's going to end up with. It's going to get a door and a door frame in there, and I'm going to have to live with the fact that that beam is lower than the top of my head. My head you know, is up here somewhere. It's not going to be the main entrance to the building. The main entrance will remain as the front door, but yes, that will have a doorway there. This wall, it will be rendered up fairly smooth. It's never going to be flat, never going to be straight, but that will remain just as a wall. That wall is going to remain as a wall because what's going to happen there is a door is going to go in there, or a doorway. I don't know if we'll put a door on it or just leave it as a doorway, and this will in effect be the entrance from the kitchen, which is actually behind that wall at the moment. Is the shower and sink and bathroom, toilet. There isn't a bath in this house, there's a shower. That will eventually come out, but that will be a doorway, door space. This end of the room will be a dining space. These funny little, we'll call them windows. I'm going to stick with calling them windows. They sort of get blocked with things, and there's a bit of stone has been pushed in that one. That one there had an old haricot bean tin and some newspaper pushed in it. But they were from the day that this was an agricultural part of the building. Those two I'm going to square up and put frames in and just have a little glass pane in there. They're not windows for looking out of. Windows for looking out of will be going up that end. There's already an opening in the wall, so that will, and around about there is where the there's going to be a little log burning stove and a chimney going on there. That's where the existing chimney is, in the thickness of the wall. So that's the plan. The other end of the room is going to be the sitting room, or le salon. That of course is my bedroom, and what's going to be above where I'm standing will be a bathroom with a bath. But there's lots to do. I'm curious about what this bit of timber is. On the other side of that, there's a sort of opening that has only been half filled in. And set in the wall there, you can see the hinges. There's another one lower down. Hinges, it obviously was some sort of opening sort of thing, but exactly what for, we don't know. You know, was it for access to firewood, or we simply don't know why there is this sort of hatched opening in the wall. That's going to require a certain amount of interesting sort of work, because that particular piece of wood looks like it's, how do we put this, past it? That's going to have to come out, and yeah, probably going to just be built up with not with bricks, but what they use a lot here are an expanded concrete block, And it's not that nice, soft, easy to cut stuff that you find in England. This is rock hard concrete that is structurally very, very good. I think they're called parpangs. I have got some. Whether I've got enough is another question. But yeah, plenty to do, plenty to do. What's behind here is the staircase that goes up to that door there. Yeah. Yeah, lots to do, lots to do. But I'm going to let all of this sort of settle down a bit. It never hurts to let it go off before you carry on working. Now that will be happily knitting things back together. And I'm going to do a little bit of gardening for a while.